I'm very surprised because I don't know the details, and I thank you so much for giving us the details that you had a camera in that kit. So
Well,
it isn't that you just went there and this is you were filming at some point, no?
I was filming it, I was taking notes, yeah. That was my job.
So now you see what you think is a plane crash, and you have these two gentlemen with you, and you're walking.
I had my security team.
Yes. Yeah, and then you went where? How did you?
Well, as we then started walking, toward the edge of the forest, I was still doing my security checks, and it was just breaking up. And so Kabanzak, who was our security airman, who I wanted to be at the engine control plane anyway, because he was trained that way, I set him up as a radio relay. So the person at the East Gate, who was Sergeant Chandler, would be able to relay to the command center, Central Security Control. And even though I had set that up, I still transmitted. I transmitted because they could probably maybe hear me. I just can't hear them. So I continued on up there, me and the other airman. And as we approached the forest, it was apparent that it was an aircraft crash. At that point in time, I don't know how many I've been to, a couple dozen. I don't know, a lot, too many aircraft crashes. And it didn't have the right color, it didn't have the right smell.
When you say it didn't have the right color, what color did it have?
Well, burning metal like titanium and stuff.
No,
like
I mean this particular site.
It wasn't the type of coloring you get from aircraft fire.
So what did you see for color?
Well, that was different at what point in time I was approaching from my vantage point.
And you said smell, so that's very interesting.
Well, burning the fuel, JB4, yeah.
Did it have any smell?
No.
And you're walking towards this thing.
Right. We get to the forest, edge of the forest, and I can see within the forest now. It's a fairly bright light. It's no longer colored like with blues or oranges, nothing like that. And so as I came up with it, I said I was maybe within 15 feet, 20 feet of it, and a bright flash. Of course, natural reaction was to hit the ground. There was no explosion though. It was just a flash. Yeah, and so I get up, brush myself off. And
so did you hit the ground?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was just a natural reaction.
Okay.
I thought it was going to explode. I thought it was exploding, but with no sound in it, obviously it wasn't. And then after that bright flash, it started to dissipate. And then I got my camera out now, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm snapping. It's the old Canons they had with the film and I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if the film was set up right for focus. I don't know. I was pretty shook up. But I knew at that point in time it was an aircraft crash. My next step is in the middle of simultaneously taking pictures and things like that, is I'm initiating a helping hand situation. Because I've already terminated it. It's not an aircraft crash. But it is a possible security threat to the base.
Okay.
Okay. So that's a helping hand situation. It's an up-channel report that you give telephonically, and then it goes up to the weak band post, and this actual keeps going up through the Air Force. It's mainly because of the priority A and B and C resources we have on the base. We want to make sure that they're not in jeopardy. And then as I came up, there's a berm in front of me though, so it was uneven. And I came up over the berm, and that light had dissipated down, and then there was a black craft with some type of technology on the skin of the craft where we'd have globular red, blue, green lights running through it.
All over the craft, not around the
no,
bird, but all over the craft.
No, it was part of it.
It was part of it. You said black, so that seemed like a black.
Yeah, the craft seemed black. It was still lit by some white light of some kind underneath it. We didn't need flashlights.
And the shape?
It was triangular.
Okay.
Which, well, it wasn't that out of, triangular craft. They were possible then.
They are possible. Yes.
Yeah, and
about how big was it?
well, what I did is, as I approached it, and as it seemed to calm down, the lights, the gallery lights started not moving, and then it dissipated where they couldn't see them. It was just a black craft in front of me. And so I guess I'm in the front. I don't know. I could have been in the side. I don't know where the front was.
Yeah, because in a triangle, you don't know what part of it it is. But so, how did you feel?
Well, my cameras, I expelled all film in, and I wish I would have took more time and not been flicking them off like that.
Were you mysterious? Did you say? Did it feel like a mystery? Were you curious when you're going close to it?
No, I knew we had a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. We had a problem because there's something here I can't identify.
Okay.
Okay. And so when it calmed down, when I was curious too. I said, how's that thing sitting on the floor? I mean, it was above the ground. I mean, how's it doing that?
How's it, in other words, floating, but later you said that it actually left marks.
Yeah, it was very strange. We had, as I got up to it, and I'm looking underneath it, looking for the landing gear. There's no landing gear.
There's no landing gear.
No, but it's fixed. It's not moving. I even pushed it, to see it.
You even touched it?
Well, I thought I could move. There's no landing gear.
And later there was actual.
Oh, later on there was
traces.
indentions in the ground, 1.5 inches.
It's important to say this because this is a mystery technology that actually makes an indentation, but you can't see.
No, but it would be safe to assume whatever technology that was with this plasma, light, whatever, it left marks in the ground.
Yes.
I mean, that was later on.
It had a mass to leave marks in the ground.
Oh, yeah, the research, the containment team from Laughlin just said it was, I'm getting ahead, it weighed 7 tons.
It weighed 7 tons?
Yeah, that's what they determined based on the
indentation.
Yeah, I guess with the temperature of the ground at the time, and they could tell. Yeah.
Okay, so you're there and you're watching, and you have to explain.
Well, I'm doing the 360. As I started to enter this area right around the craft, my movements are labored. First of all, there's no sound, zero. I mean, no air. You can't hear trees, branches, no animals. It's just dead silence. You can't even hear my footsteps on the forest floor, breaking branches or anything. You can't hear nothing.
No sound. So you're kind of in a bubble of another.
Well, that's what I'd call it a sphere of influence around it. I mean, maybe stretching out about 10 feet. I look back to the right about 25, 30 feet is the other airman that was with me. And he's just standing in motion. I don't know if he was scared to death. I don't know if he was free.
He didn't move.
He didn't move.
He's standing there.
No, so I wrote him off.
Okay, what about Kabanzak?
Kabanzak was back near the Jeep area.
But he could see too.
He could see. Sergeant Chandler could see. I mean, there's plenty of people who could see.
Okay, so then what?
Then I, with these labor movements and the feeling of the static electricity in my hair, my face, my clothes, the only thing I could do is record. I figured the other person's a casualty and I might be next. Okay? So I'm going to record as much information as I can so my command element has some information of what happened out here. Yeah. And I would take, and I was still transmitting on the radio. I didn't know if they could hear me.
And you had a notebook in your hand.
Yeah, I didn't have no measuring devices, so I walked it off. I was doing the 360 around it.
And that's where, when you were looking at this thing very clearly, that's where you saw the glyphs.
I'll get to that.
Oh, you're getting there. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's more important things than right at the initial onset of it. So I started to walk it off, pacing. And I'm 6'2", so one of my paces is about 3 feet. Okay. So that's what I used for a measurement. It measured went down one side. It was about 9 feet, and it was equal all the way around. So about 9 feet by 9 feet, 9 feet. I'm 6'2". In between those berms, and I'm saying, it's between 6 foot, 7 foot high. I'm guessing. And now all I have is a black glass. That's a smooth glass. I'm looking for obvious things that every aircraft in the world has. Flaps.
Right.
Crew compartment. At the time, we didn't have drones and stuff. And exhaust intakes. I mean, these are all things you've got to have to fly. and it didn't have those.
When you said it was black, then that means the lights weren't on there anymore, all those lights.
No, it's just completely opaque at the time.
Yeah. Opaque black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I'm walking around, and it has coming up out of it is like a dorsal fin, you know.
Okay.
I mean, similar to, I guess, an aircraft in a
Mm-hmm.
broad sense, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
a way. And so I'm like, what is this? I know that this is not anything that's in Jane's book of known aircraft. That means it's not by another government. Okay. And I was, by the way, I was routinely, monthly, instructed, trained on silhouetting of aircraft. That means it's just a silhouette card. We go through all that, so you can tell the aircraft whether it's just a silhouette, and I couldn't identify it. First of all, it wasn't an aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Second, it wasn't even similar to any aircraft I've ever seen before. And I was stationed off an Air Force base, and I did see prototype aircraft there.
Mm-hmm. But nothing like this.
Oh, no. I haven't seen that technology even today in the aircraft.
Okay.
Okay, it's just...
Really weird.
Yeah. And so as I walk around, I'm doing this first 360, and then I see over to one side of it, I see there's some type of writing. Oh, thank God. Yeah.
You're looking for an insignia. You say I can make sense out of this because I'll see the insignia.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it says NASA, maybe it says U.S. Air Force, maybe it says, it's a sickle, there it's a Russian, Soviet. I said anything would be a good answer right now. And I get around to it, and there wasn't nothing like it at all. It was these glyphs. And they were, measuring, I said they're 4 inches high. I'm using my hands.
Yeah.
They're about 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
Using my hands. And
were they lit? Were lit up?
No, they weren't lit up. But I touched the craft, and that's all smooth. But when I went over to these glyphs, started touching them, they were like similar to like going from a smooth black glass to like a sandpaper.
Okay.
Okay. And which I was just totally perplexed at that point.
Were they in an indentation, or was it raised?
They were etched in that craft.
Etched.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the best word I can use. Then as I continue to walk around...
going back to the glyphs?
No, I don't...
Can we stay there for a little while, or...?
No.
Okay.
No, because I'm doing what I did.
Yeah.
Here's what I did. And I went back around, and so I'm finishing up the notes on the glyphs. I had to write them down. I didn't have a lot of paper,
In real time.
Yeah,
okay.
and I'm pretty shook up. But I do the 360 again, and this time, walking around, my movements aren't labored.
It's easy.
Yeah, so it's easier. And I walk back around, I stop back at those glyphs again.
Okay.
And so above it, on the top one, was a triangular one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the size of it.
Okay.
It was a triangular one, and it had 3 other smaller circles. Anyway, I went and touched that, and when I touched that, I had a blinding white light. Where you can nothing but white light. And I don't know how many seconds my hands was on there. I have no idea. But then common sense sort of reality sort of hit in, and all I did is lift my hand off, and it stopped. Now the part that just blew my mind about it is that after that intense white light, I shouldn't have no night vision at all. Mm-hmm. Not for 35, 45 more minutes.
Yes.
I had complete night vision, like it wasn't even light. So I don't know what it was. I used the term light, but I don't know.
In other words, it didn't affect your eyesight.
No, and light would. I mean, that's just the way it works.
Okay.
But so I didn't know. Then let's see.
You had a watch on during this time.
Right, and I used it for writing on times. That's what it's for. Mm-hmm. Then as I got back around, I started seeing movement of light again through this fabric of the craft, and it started getting more active. I don't know, it's like it's activating. I got back away 10 feet, and then when it started getting more with light generation, I got back on the ground.
Oh, you hit the ground.
Yeah, I went back
okay.
to the ground. I didn't know what I thought it could explode. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Maybe I did something to it to activate an explosion, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it moved. It lifted off the ground.
Right.
And then it sort of moved back a little bit through the trees, which are close together, by the way.
Right.
And maybe about 15, 20 feet back. And then it rose up to the canopy of the forest and made a slight turn to the right. Gone.
Are you talking to people the whole time this is going on?
Not at that time. I was like...
You stopped talking to them when you started measuring?
Yeah, when I was just halfway around the first walk around.
You stopped talking.
Well, my full attention was on the vehicle in front of me.
And the writing of the details, because it's your notebook.
Well, yeah, because I didn't think I was going to survive this.
Oh.
So that's why I want to make sure there's a record. You
didn't think you were going to survive it?
No, you got to pass it on. I mean, that's the purpose. That's the whole purpose of being there. I got to pass on whatever information I can.
Okay.
Then that way the command element of the base can make decisions or be aware of things. Maybe it's
Afterwards, when you talk to them, what did they think happened to you?
Talk to them?
That they were on the other end of the line, on the other end of the command post or the line, the people that you were in constant contact.
Oh well.
What did they think?
Well, we didn't talk to them right away. One said the craft, like almost in a blink of an eye, it was fast. It was gone. And at that point in time, all of a sudden I hear something. I can hear the branches in the trees, and I hear a crunch behind me, and it's the airman with me I thought was gone. He was there, and he reacquired it. He says, "Oh, it's over there," and then he takes off. I'm after him. We got to stay together. We're a team. I take after him, so I'm behind him. We go over a couple fences. We go through a farmer's field. I fall down.
Wow.
Yeah, I fall down in mud and water. We get to finally outside that farmer's field, and I said, "Wait, stop!" I had him stop. Will you stop? And he did. And he's pointing over. I said, "What are you pointing at?" He said, "It's over there." I turned around and looked over here. I said, "Where?" And he's pointing. I said, "That's a lighthouse."
Okay, that's important.
That's what he said. He said, "I said that's a lighthouse." I said, "No." And then I reacquired it. It's back over in the other direction, over the North Sea, heading that way. It was stationary, and that was gone like that again. And then once that happened, I could hear CSC.
Okay.
I contacted immediately. They said, "Hey, go ahead and come back to the base."
My original question is, CSC, who was the command, when you didn't talk anymore, what did they think happened to you?
Well, I'd find out later.
They must have freaked out a little bit.
Well, they didn't freak out too much because one thing that didn't happen, and I was waiting for it, and it never happened, is where's my backup?
Yes, this is what, because they're listening all at once, they don't hear you anymore, and
where is my backup?
And was there backup?
None responded out there to the area. Sergeant Chandler was in charge at the East Gate. He didn't initiate it. Who knows? It could have been a ruse. See, I don't know. They might have. I don't know what the reason was.
But there was no backup.
No, and that's not within our normal protocols. There were at least have been another two-man team or something.
Have you tried to figure that out?
Of course.
And what do you think?
Well, I talked to Sergeant Coffey and that, and they said, well, Sergeant Chandler said he's on scene, everything's safe. He called it safe, and that's why there was no response.
Okay, so let's cut this off right here, this part.